Lupe Fiasco might have had the most interesting career trajectory in hip-hop. His first two albums had him rapping like the chosen one. I think Food and Liquor and The Cool are two of the best albums in hip-hop. But then his career reached a lull. He dropped the album Lasers in the peak of his career, an album that he didn't even like. I also didn't love the sequel to Food and Liquor, but his career has really seen a resurgence, starting with Tetsuo Youth, which is phenomenal. The song Murals is one of the most lyrical hip-hop songs ever. I thought the Drogas Wave that dropped a few years ago was phenomenal as well. And he also had the House EP a couple of years ago that was pretty dope. I think Lupe bar for bar is still one of the best to ever do it. Let's get to it.
Drill music, pop that pill music, kill music. Desecrating the temples in the ghetto, funeral processionals increase their frequency because we can't break the spell of Geppetto. Fire, wanna beat a block but can't buy the block, bulldozing the block, making the Red Sea choke on bones of drones sent by PPP loans to see how you spent the money. Drill down, Zion is in you.
Hey, that intro kind of gave me chills for a couple of reasons. What is really reminiscent of his intro to Food and Liquor that started with the poem. I think the poem here was really, really deep. I love how she painted that image of the violence in Chicago, desecrating Zion, and then the flip to saying Zion was in you and drilled down, play on drill music, drill down inside of you and find Zion. I also like that synth and then the watery guitar licks that played in the background behind those synths. That's dope. Let's get into GHOTI.
Assassin's Creed, rapping it back in D like a mansion that's lacking fees. Tapping the blackest keys on the stage, mistaking maidens for manatees. Neuralink is now pirating all your fantasies. Mistaking this sanitation for sanity. My mistake, I'm mistaken staying for cannot leave.
So that first verse was pretty cryptic, but I'm getting a lot of dystopian imagery, capturing catastrophes, Neuralink pirating your fantasies. But he's doing some really impressive stuff with the rhyme scheme right here. He's had up to 6-syllable rhyme schemes in that first verse. And then when he's not using a 6-syllable, he's playing primarily with a 3-syllable. But he's doing alliterations in it too. Like when he got into the mistaken maidens for manatees and mistaken sanitation for sanity.
Lasso to the hammer squeeze, throwing Wonder Woman battle at the apple trees. Or like Adam Eve happened at an Applebee's. Y'all can go half on a sample platter, you can have with cheese. Batted covered.
I like that. It really like played on the last one where we started with the lasso, then the Wonder Woman, then the apple, then the Applebee's.
This ain't no screams in space. Egyptian museum, they keep the kings in crates. Prosperous gospel got choirs all on the case. Poverty pimping, angel wings, flies all on the face. Wave a shoestring, they say you can't escape when rich. That's just a bigger plate, they catching bait with fish.
Yeah, so that second verse really materialized a lot of what the first verse is talking about. Still a lot of dystopian themes. It sounds like he's describing Chicago, but he's also making an analogy to the world at large. He had the African imagery, so I think they're saying that a lot of this is referring to black people and the plight of black people. He's talking about them getting stuck in this cycle of violence and being pimped by various interest groups. I really love those last lines where he's talking about you can't escape just for being rich. They just use bigger bait for you. I'm assuming that's referring to himself. So I'm rocking with that track. This is AUTOBOTO. You got the little mariachi strings.
I'm a Porsche, I'm Carrera, error, 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 error. Lies to the judge, rain in the sky and the sea might rise with slice to the mud, slice to the flies from all kinds of demise, reporting live from the hive and all sides of the sludge.
Hey, one thing you can't deny, Lupe can rap, man.
To the nudge, why buy a tub when to buy you a flood? Better buy you a sub. How you gonna survive in the club? You gonna kayak it cuz when it rise up above and the waves come and push and the titles a shove. What's the infrared dot to a whole.gov? Look right in the eyes of a thug, look dumb street shit don't apply to the plug.
That's tough. That's tough. I think he's a master when it comes to extended metaphors. Like take that whole flood imagery where he started with saying the bayou flood, a reference to how the government did New Orleans during Katrina, and then he made a whole extended metaphor out of it, talking about kayaking in the club and need to get a submarine.
Shots, headshots, cut off all my dreadlocks. I ain't want a head wash no more. What you mean headshot? Nigga said headshots. Nigga like a helmet with a GoPro, but I mean go-go. 30, but it's dope though. Matter of fact, local. Surrounded by gang members and a lot of popo. That's real, but it might sound like a joke though. Never know.
Hold on. Got a lot to dissect.
Show clothes, now I don't even know who wrote those. Maybe my ghost knows, but we both cold. I used to write on my ghost flows, wrote each other solos. Now the nigga say he want co-pros, money from the shows and rights to the logo. Do you want a lawyer? No ho. I defend myself in.
Hey, she sound beautiful. I'm gonna call her Winter Walker. Man, that second verse, that's what abstract rap is supposed to sound like. I like when he was playing with all those meanings of headshot in the beginning of the verse, and then he gets into this conversation with himself talking about him ghostwriting himself, and himself wants like a cut of his profits and stuff like that. That was dope. The chorus was stupid though, I'm not gonna lie. The chorus was stupid. They turned lemons into lemonade when they had the girl singing the chorus in the outro, but nah, the chorus is a no for me. The verses are sick though. This is Precious Things.
Never bite the hands that feed, but when those same hands grab the gats and up the sleeves, I put carrots on them, just like rabbit laws. My middle finger's like, fuck this nigga, what happened to us? Okays, I got up yours and go aways. Shoe gestures and throat slices, the motions made.
Man, Lupe is a genius with turning anything into a concept. He gave this whole story of street violence using hands to describe the entire story. Started with bite the hand that feed to picking up guns, and then those hand gestures to communicate conflict at the end. That's tough.
Put the arms in arms, I put arms in palms. We was hand to hand, all state. Pinky speaker, thumb receiver, how we used to call, make all shakes. Now it's fingers back catching picture. Now you don't even wave. We used to throw the shaka Honolulu from the stage. Now you just wanna throw hands and technicals on my plays, goddamn.
I really like how he used this particular gesture, I don't know what you call it, at the beginning and the end of the verse, talking about them calling each other, and then how he would throw this up at the shows to salute each other. Now they want to throw hands.
See, that's the thing, cause we was praying for you, air guitar and playing for you. You turned a deaf ear to what we was saying to you. We was here, can't go back to before. The problem is, you don't use us to write the raps anymore.
I got a feeling he was talking about himself in that last line. The perspective of people from Chicago talking to Lupe saying he deserted them. Alright, so I think conceptually that song was brilliant. I will say the beat's not really doing anything for me. I can't place any aspect of the beat that was wrong, and I did like the bass, but it just doesn't seem that on trend. Same thing with the vocals. It seems kind of the late 2000s style of music. But lyrically, I love it. This is Kiosk.
You look like the type that likes a diamond in his ear, to walk around the town and be so shiny and revered, come across as boss and be so timely and prepared, look like $1 million off a signing with the Bears.
Y'all know I love syllables. This nigga is casually pulling off a 5-syllable rhyme scheme right now.
I think it's more of a temple, not a stall, but no, not a religion, not at all. I know it's kind of simple and it's small, but that's cause it's the middle of the mall. If you want to show off and just ball, or your intention is the draw.
I did not see where he was going with
We got
this.
credentials for it all. Welcome to the middle of the mall. If you are a rapper or a trapper on a job, it don't really matter if you get jacked or you get robbed. Don't matter, it's not a factor or a prop. Only thing that's gonna happen, you're gonna get attacked by all the blogs. Diamonds only worth what you are willing to pay. A deceptive game you are killing to play. Now I have diamonds, it's odd feeling this way. But when they start to sparkle, that star glittering glaze, it sways, takes your mind off to days where preachers can praise AIDS as God killing the gays. What a fucking phrase, never ceases to amaze. But when he dies from cancer, that's God's mysterious ways.
Yeah, man, more conceptual brilliance. Him using the perspective of somebody working a kiosk and then using it to talk about this bigger issue of putting on a fake persona. And then I love how he rapped that over really minimal just keys and a guitar. I like how a beat dropped in when he goes on this rant talking about the hypocrisy of how religion's presented here in America. And I really like that Gabriel's in Afghanistan passing out AKs, referring to Gabriel in the Bible, who's one of the angels in the Bible. Really well put together song. This is Miss Mural.
Most of what we know as art is the projection of a faith. The product of a pontiff for the election of a saint. A gift from the red for the digestion of the caint. A visual varnish for the confessions of the frank. Displays veil for the deceptiveness of the secularist complaint. The upheaval of the cathedrals into the edifice of bank. That pile over there is just the evidence of angst. The felt revival of a perfectionist when his efforts have just sank.
This is an actual fact that 90% of the art that we celebrate was religious, and he's using this to say that art has an agenda behind it, and I think you can extrapolate that out to modern day music, and now it seems like he's touching on media a bit too.
Art world is just competitively opaque. It never ceases to amaze. My mouth is medically agape. One day it's raising up the brand, the next it's shredding it to flakes. And the velocity of trends is what referees the pace. Professionally accept what ethically I hate. So in all of my work you see this wrestling with fate. It's even in the brushstrokes how aggressively I strafe. Less like putting on some makeup, more like severing a face. To ask the patron, can you stand up on the pile? I've had a flash of inspiration, my creativeness aroused. The model took its place, the painter grabbed the lighter, doused the shit in gasoline and set it all on fire.
So if you didn't catch it, he's told the patron to stand up on all this art that's giving him this internal conflict, and he lit the whole thing up in fire. So he lit the patron up with all of the art. I kind of take that as him talking about him completely rejecting what the label wants him to do, what the media and society wants him to do, and completely going his own way creatively and with his music. Hey, ain't much else to say besides that song was pure art, cause you get it. This is Naomi.
Nice, we look alike, they want a slice of your dreams. Even Christ took a knife for
These
the team.
keys and horns sound
swing,
great.
Come around to help, like Batman utility belt. All by myself with the world on my delts. We
That's
can chill
tough.
while it melts. The beat bill feel like it's felt. My suspicion Christians killed all the Celts. What else? Heard the all that beautiful musical moving you like an intercool Subaru with an Italian man saying, look at what I do for you. A nice chicken Vesuvio. Being North Boston often.
Rhyme schemes
Round
is
them Sicilians,
cold.
I be walking like the ambiance and talking. My favorite, I was in Roxbury on Malcolm X block. Talking that talk that got Malcolm X watched. Trying to pick up
That's
when Malcolm
tough.
X stopped. Only game I play is a Malcolm X box. Look at the skies, see the Malcolm X ring.
That's fire.
Malcolm X files, it's a Malcolm X thing. As you ask yourself, what does Malcolm X mean? I return to the force in the Malcolm X swing.
Return to the fourth, the Malcolm X wing.
You know they
That song is sick. Like I said, I love this more jazzier production. The two verses from Lupe were phenomenal. That first verse was just stream of consciousness rapping. He's going from topic to topic, but I like how he strings together each topic as he progresses through his verse. His rhyme schemes were phenomenal. Phenomenal. The way that he strings together in rhymes, almost every single word in each bar is rhyming with something. And he's really extended his rhyme schemes. He's using these same rhyme schemes for verses on end, and even when he changes, he'll keep some syllables from the last rhyme scheme. It's really impressive. The Malcolm X flips in that second verse, sick. This is the title track, Drill Music in Zion. Man, I wish the whole album had this jazzy production. I think the second half, production-wise, is better than the first half by a lot.
August symphonic, power of a blonic to heal, steel medical bill, drill harmonics, silver sonnets from the body.
Rappers don't use alliteration too much. This was big in poetry. Like, we studied this in school, but the heal, steel, drill, that whole alliteration is sick.
Coppery bonics, competent and gauntlet, Gotama's economics, rock gondolas to you.
I was rocking with that O
Bigger than
sound.
a Tongan, write signatures with a Thomas. Great Wall of China climber and Bonnie will correspond it. Opera onyx, populars for convicts, stay below the Doppler term.
This is
robotics,
insane.
sonic.
He's playing with that onyx, popular, robotics, that ah sound.
Nostradamus can bother to keep a promise. Logic's on a rocket where profit defeats a conscience. Somebody's daughter is contemplating a convent, but a man with $1 is slobbering for her haunches. Gobbling collard greens through the rumpus, washing Gosling, watch hollering, replace a Congress.
He's getting into this dystopian theme still. He's pretty clearly talking about modern society, but he's packing such good storytelling within these like 2 or 3 line stories that he's telling. The girl on IG wanting to become an Instagram model, him diving into technology, being pessimistic about it.
Now there are those that resoluted to wreck, got caught, fought, lost, electrocuted to death. All due respect, it's not really about fair collective side, cause the real killer's still out there. Probably calling the police, complaining about his neighbors, or just walking on the beach. Why should he have such views of the ocean and not be hanging from the gallows with his neck neatly broken?
Man, this is sick. The way that he just floats from concept to concept. So he starts with this masterful storytelling. He's describing this guy on death row, and he gets electrocuted, and then DNA shows that he didn't actually commit the crime. But there's this subtle shift, because when he talks about the real killer, he's describing people in corporate America, right? Not someone on the streets killing people, but the real killers are out here making decisions that's impacting our lives, and probably gonna have some link to like I think it's called like the war complex or warmongering. I don't freaking know. We need to read books, guys. Let's read some books.
I let it soak in, then I put the soap in, then I put the boats in, then I play with both of them. The hot tubs now looking like a yacht club, making sure I get all of the shoes like a bot does. Neighbor is pissed, tells the cops if he wants to bathe like a sailor, live on a container ship. I party all night and the banging is intense, cause I know exactly what you did and you gonna pay for it, you bitch.
I was wrong by him linking it back to war, but now he's talking about him becoming one of those rich people he just said were killers, and his payback is keeping him up by partying.
Quarreling mortals is nothing short of insane. Let's try and turn this quarter water to a quarter bottles and James. These episodes of the soul.
That's it.
Past the more control.
That's it. That quarter water line is fire.
All the drill music in Zion.
Just masterful lyricism. It's hard to put this in a genre because it's definitely abstract in its stream of consciousness, right? Like he says, let it soak in, and then the soak in imagery turns into him talking about people in yachts and hot tubs. But his imagery is really concrete compared to typical abstract rapping where the meaning is somewhat cryptic. He's flowing from these fully fleshed out themes to these other fully fleshed out things. He's just doing it in a really stream of consciousness style. These are some really, really well put together tracks, and I like the production on this one as well. This is Seattle.
I kept my promise to the streets to develop myself in a fine way. Life is a sine wave, Einstein mind in his time space. When they try to keep you, gotta climb gates. Escape from a city that's defined by crime rate. Design traits, they minimize the grind and abide on your mind states. Fine break.
I like how I use the same rhyme scheme the whole verse.
One life, live 100 ways, but never break it down like gum bites. If done right, you'll be unliked, but you'll be unlike.
So you'll be unlike, but you'll be different. Unlike, that's good wordplay.
When you gotta run where snares not a drum type, where they hung whites, psych, where they hung blacks, even hung like a black life as a batch don't come twice. You can light a fire.
The whole like a black line, pause, was fire.
Computers ain't got no souls, but I be giving down to the Pro Tools. Gotta control all your trolls, don't soak in your socials. Letting me bop with the soju, food and liquor, that's domu. Stand behind me like JoJo, spirit bomb what I show you.
This was the first song in a while that didn't have this overarching concept or theme. This was more Lupe just going, just rapping. I like the lyricism as he played with some really complex rhyme schemes, really in all 3 verses. I don't like the beat. This isn't bad production by any stretch of the imagination. It just doesn't really excite me that much. But I think the rapping is more than making up for it. This is the last track on Phonem. That's a really clever song title.
I wish that you were lying.
These keys are pretty dope. That's some synthy keys,
I
but
hope that none of that comes true.
it's giving a really dope vibe.
Rappers die too much.
That's bad.
That's it, that's the verse.
Hey, let's go home. That was really the verse, okay. Alright. This nigga's a master. Bro, the verse of the year. Verse of the year.
Silent reflection was the first verse's mission. I ain't wanna water it down with a whole bunch of conditions. Just give it to you raw, how a nigga really feeling. Rappers get shot too much, probably has a lot more precision. Look at what we say in this bitch just to get rich. Shoot a nigga right in the head, don't even flinch.
Lupe does a really good job of rapping about his verse while he's in the verse. Off the top of my head, he's done it on the song Mean and Vicious, Pins and the Needles, or Pins and Needles, whatever the song's called, off of Fahrenheit 115.
How does that transpire to be so damned by God? You want your friends to be goddamn liars. All we talk about are our goddamn priors. Shiny metal boxes on top of goddamn tires. I'm goddamn tired. If I say I didn't indulge, my pants be on goddamn fire. Cause I'm a part of the problem. Sometimes the P, and sometimes the robberlum. What's the difference between a posthumous album and a life insurance policy?
That's tough.
Spotify. $1 worth with $1 buy. Go monetize.
That's fire.
I wish that you were lying to me. Oh yes, I do. Okay. Give you a fourth one to make up for the first. Only cause I know that you can take another verse.
Appreciate
that.
that.
To be a lie cause hell sounds like it hurts. Also want it to be real cause heaven sounds like it's turned. With my conscience like a condom cause I don't want to be burnt. With my dharma like it's armor cause I don't want to return.
That's
To the
tough.
will of the quivering meat conception. Sometimes I hide inside Kerouac for protection.
Man, that song is excellent. I think that Moody B really set the tone for the song. That first verse, talk about tone setting, that first verse also set the tone for the song. I love that juxtaposition of the chorus saying, I wish you were lying. It plays in that common criticism that rappers are lying. Now it's saying, I wish you were lying. The name of the track on Phonem clearly references drill music and the gang rivalries and people who have died behind drill music. I like how he's able to cleverly references his verses while in the middle of the verse. And overall, man, this album shows off a complete mastery of rap. Conceptually, this is right up there with the two best conceptual albums of the year, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and Atheos by Billy Woods. I think on a song-to-song basis, there's about 7 songs on this album that you can say conceptually this is one of the best songs of the year. Also lyrically, there's not much going toe-to-toe with what Lupe did from a wordplay perspective and definitely from a rhyme scheme perspective. I do think this album gets held back by the production. On the first half of the album especially, I don't think the beats were bad, but there was just nothing groundbreaking with a lot of these tracks. I think the choruses on some of these tracks gave these songs like a dated feel. I do think there were some impressive beats on the second half of the album with Naomi and drill music and Zion, the last track on Phonem. But overall, I'll say lyrically, this is arguably top 1 lyrically. Definitely top 1, 2, or 3. I think overall, I think this album will have a top 10 album of the year push. It would be hard for it not to be in my end of the year list. Amazing lyricism from Lupe and a great album.